Vintage Backyard RC.
Hello friends, and welcome to Vintage Backyard RC. Well, summer's rolling out and fall's rolling in. And I'm sure you guys have noticed there hasn't been much content this summer. If you may have seen on our community page or our Instagram page, we've had some major house construction going on. We've also had a few family issues, but everything's on the up and up now. And fortunately, I was able to get a few cars filmed before we pulled the plug on the operation this summer. That means we'll have some content for you guys this winter. One of those cars is our Kyosho Raider. Now, quite frankly, I've ignored Kyosho. I always have, because honestly, when I grew up, my local hobby shops carried Tamiya or Associated, so that's what we all ran. It wasn't until I started watching some of my favorite channels like RC Retro or The Yogue, and they were reviewing this car, and they were telling us how much this car meant to them because this was their first RC. Sort of like my Hornet. They love their Kyosho Raider as much as I loved my Hornet growing up. So I had to get one. I had to see what it was all about, and I'm glad that I did. We did a rebuild on this vehicle. You'll see it in this card that hopefully pops up this time. And it's just a fantastic vehicle, well put together, and I can't wait to get it out on that track to see what it runs. So let's have a quick look under the hood, get it out on the track, see how she does on the board, watch some slow motion, and have a chat. Stand by. Released in 1988, the Kyosho Raider was considered an entry-level, two-wheel drive, off-road electric racing buggy. The Raider was released at an entry-level price point, with a street price of about $5 more than a Tamiya Hornet, and it was about the same price as the Tamiya Striker. Kyosho came out with a few different versions of this car. It was originally released as a kit. Soon thereafter it came as an almost ready to run. That's right, it was pre-built, one of the first cars to do this. They later had a pro version of the car that came with oil-filled shocks and some hop-ups. The version we're running today is the ARR. All you had to do was add your radio, your decals, and you were ready to rock this rad racer. So $85 got you a plastic reinforced chassis, independent front and rear suspension, and oh yeah, one more cool thing. This car was mid-motor. That's right, Kyosho was way ahead of the curve on a two-wheel drive buggy. The mid-motor gearbox featured 3 gears, consisting of a drive gear, an idler gear, and a sealed gear differential. Up front we had equal length independent front suspension with friction damper shocks. Same in the rear, we had independent rear suspension with a lower A-arm and a front upper tie link with friction damper shocks. The ABS smooth bottom chassis was standard, as well as an oversized front ABS bumper. We top it off with this cool Lexan body with the appropriate late 80s rad graphics. This thing was fire. Today we'll be running the car with our silver can setup, Scorpion stock size wheels because I couldn't find the Raider ones, stock kit front tires, and Scorpion re-release rear tires. So let's take this thing for a spin and see how she does on the VBRC circuit. Wow, guys, that was absolutely fantastic. Now I know why my friends love this car so much. It handled great, and it went wherever I wanted to put it. There was a few small driver errors, but it wasn't the car's fault. So without further ado, the Kyosho Raider did a lap in. 11.50. Man, that's a little bit slower than our Fox, and it's faster than our Wild one. Keep in mind, guys, this was a beginner's car. Did pretty good. Beat out that old Hornet and the old Frog, and I'm in love with this car. So let's hit the slow motion, let's have a chat about it, and have a talk down below. You guys stand by. I must say, I was absolutely shocked. Having never driven an older beginner Kyosho before, I was not sure what to expect. At this price point, it totally dominates the competition. And while there may have been some better options around in 1988, as far as a two-wheel drive buggy goes, I really don't think there was anything at 85 bucks that came anywhere close to the performance level of this vehicle. This would have blown the doors off my Hornet back in 1988 for sure. I mean, you have things such as independent front and rear suspension and a mid-motor car, man, that's pretty cool. Also, the front end doesn't do anything wonky with the bump steer when you compress it, unlike some of those Tamiya kits. And I'm gonna say it, this plastic's more durable, guys. I have older Foxes and Wild ones, and that plastic is like glass once it gets old. Not this stuff, it's held up. The buggy jumped nice and level and rotated predictably. In fact, if I had a few more laps with it, I'm sure I could have increased my lap time by a few tenths. I think with the addition of oil shocks, this car would mop the floor with those other Tamiya plastic fantastics up on the wall there. It's all it really needs. So if you can't tell, I'm totally stoked about the Kyosho Raider. I can see where my friends were coming from now. You know, you can still get these on the cheap, and I suggest you do before they become too expensive. So that's all for now. As always, we appreciate every single one of you. We also have some big news coming up before the end of the year, but I'm not quite ready to let the cat out of the bag yet, but it's a game changer. So stand by, rock on, and I'll talk to you down below.